Welcome back to Walking the Line, a Shore Hockey Report exclusive in which we'll sit down with some of the most prominent players and personalities of the greater New Jersey Shore Hockey community. My name is Chris Rotolo, the managing editor of Shore Hockey Report. And this past week, there was some pretty big news out of Belmar. It sent shock waves up to Red Bank and all the way down the Atlantic City Expressway as St. Rose introduced current Stockton University head coach Bob Gialanella as its new head coach and the face of what's being branded as the Catholic Cooperative, the Shore Conference triop featuring players from Donovan Catholic, Red Bank Catholic, and of course, St. Rose. Coach Gialanella, welcome to the show. And though we've been warmly welcoming you to the Shore Conference, this is more of a homecoming for you, isn't it?
Oh, it's been a fun ride. I was able to coach some really good group of players at Toms River East. Real special group at Hopewell. I'll be continuing on at Stockton. I'm able to consolidate the schedules, and it's close enough where it all works. So I'm excited about that. Where this is a unique opportunity with this sort of this triop cooperative. My daughter's going to St. Rose and enrolling here in the fall. She's transferring in, so we're really excited about that. So it's really neat way for me to sort of my kids follow me, and I'm with my hockey career that I'm able to help out and really see this team grow.
When this announcement came out that you were going to be you were accepted as the head coach at this at St. Rose and then this Catholic cooperative program, it made sense. It sounded like a good fit, and I felt that way because so few coaches in the area kind of know the Shore as well as you do from a player perspective to the landscape, having coached here before, but also because of the connection you've had with the conference at Stockton. You've transformed that program into a national power, and there's a lot of familiar faces on those rosters over the last few years.
It's certainly evolved. When I coached at East, there were certainly good players. There weren't really a lot of top quality college players. I don't mean to be disrespectful. You certainly have some huge names that are NHL stars now, and that's great. It's wonderful, and it's put Jersey hockey on the map, and we're certainly proud of them. But they were like these they were outliers. They were just really exceptional players. Now, and obviously with the work that you're doing, exposing these players, and I'm learning about them. You're getting NAHL, you're getting NCAA D3, D1, just wonderful talent that's just being that's flourishing here at the Shore. So it's great to see that. It's great to see the junior programs really do a great job giving the players outlets, whether it's the 87s or the Whalers, obviously the Titans and so forth. So they're in just the additional rinks in Middletown, the ones in Howell, and the work that they're doing here, obviously in Toms River and here in the lower part of the Shore, just fantastic work. So, and you're right. I mean, the great thing about the Stockton roles, this year I have 11 of my 24 players returning that are Shore Conference alumni. Last season, Mike Corella from Middletown was the Delaware Valley's most valuable player as our goaltender. Had a fantastic season. He's a great guy. Brandon Began from Southern Regional High School. He was the defensive player of the year, had a fantastic season on the blue line. We'll certainly miss him, but we get Mike back. And we have plenty of other big names, whether it's from Brick Memorial, Southern Regional, Matt Flynn, Bobby Matthews from the Middletown area, Evan Hall from Middletown. Those are just Colby Deneen from Toms River. I don't want to name drop, but it just gives you an idea of some of the folks that are come through. So it's great to see the evolution, and I certainly have a good historical view, being living down here for about 20 years, coaching in it for a bit, and now have in my role at Stockton, just seeing how everything evolving around me and getting these really great players, helping us turn around the Stockton program, in addition to junior players we're bringing in too. So it's been a great mix. It's great to see the evolution. We're really proud to be a part of the Shore hockey community, and hopefully we can do some really special things here at the triop.
Absolutely. And you're mentioning triop. It's why we're here. It's why we're talking. But this is a very unique opportunity, as you said. Even looking at it from the perspective across the state, so few triops exist, and I don't believe there was another one with 3 Catholic programs in the same area that are coming together, trying to create a tradition, trying to create a culture under a singular brand. It's a lot to have on a plate for a new coach to walk into it and try to create this atmosphere for these kids and coming from these programs with their own distinct histories and their own great players. How do you plan to manage that?
That's a great question. It's a great challenge, but I think, leading a collegiate program where you have players kind of pouring in from everywhere, and then very quickly having to go ahead and establish an identity, a brand, and going out there and play with a certain style and a certain camaraderie, it kind of gives me a leg up on this. So I don't see that as a challenge. I think it's interesting to me. Certainly, it's unique that you have these students going to different schools and playing for one high school team. I certainly recognize that, but I think the best practices that you bring from building and having the culture change, which we've done, the staff and I have done a really good job over at Stockton, being able to grow that program and now to get sustained success over the last few seasons, using that. So a lot of it, and you bring up brand, and that's something that the athletic director and I were talking about, the moniker of Catholic hockey and finding that common thread. You don't really know what to call them. In our conversation so far, is it triop? Is it St. Rose? What is it? So, and I don't mean to trivialize that or poke fun at it. I think it's a challenge, and how do these players find pride in playing for that under that one banner? So I've been using the Catholic hockey moniker, so to speak, to try to go ahead and obviously it's their faith in the parochial schools in which they're at. And two of the schools have the word Catholic in it out of the three, and St. Rose, we all know, is a Catholic school as well. So that's what I'm aiming for. I like to pursue that and see what we can turn it into.
One of the things that I always find interesting when I speak to a coach that's coming to the Shore or taking any job really, I'm always interested to hear about the company that they're keeping in terms of who they're going to have around them as assistant coaches. I'm wondering if you have your staff built. Maybe you could fill us in on some of the guys we're going to see on the bench with you.
Sure. One's a pretty familiar name in the Shore Conference. It's Eddie Rafferty. Eddie played at Brick Township as a standout all-star goaltender during his time there. I was fortunate when I first started to coach Eddie in his senior year when I was my first year at Stockton. He was the goaltender of the year in the league. After a break about a year, we reconnected and had him join the staff as an assistant coach down there. So he had a job change and wanted to work in New York, so it was very difficult for him to do the Atlantic City commitments. So Eddie is going to join us. I'm really excited about him working with our goaltenders here. We certainly have three goaltenders returning with the senior goaltender and Balancione. I'm probably butchering the name there. Sorry, Jack. I'll work on that for you when I meet you in person. But you have Nick, you got Mike, and Eddie will go ahead and work with those young players. And the second assistant I want to be Alan Rhodes, who works with me at Stockton. It's not uncommon for us to sometimes have a couple different hats that we wear. So Alan's UPenn, he's a Stockton grad, a UPenn grad, and we went to grad school as a teacher down in South Jersey. Fantastic first-class guy, and has an Air Force background as well. So these are high-quality assistants. I'm really excited about the staff and what they're going to bring. Like I said, we're able to go ahead and consolidate a lot of things. There's no conflicts here, so it really works out pretty smoothly. And I'm really happy that as we're going through the trainings and going through the onboarding now, we'll get that out of the way and get to the hockey.
The NJSIAA came out with its return to participation plan and the guidelines and the regulations. High school hockey is going to look different this year. How do you plan on approaching that, working with the kids in this climate? Is it something else that you have to account for? And is it a challenge?
No, it is. I think it's going to be a read and react in the beginning. Whatever requirements are needed of us, I think we can begin at least on paper on December 3rd. I believe the practices can begin. Competition starts on the 21st. So it's not like a court sport or field sport. We're out there every day. We're probably going to be on the ice about twice a week. At least that's my game plan. We'll extend the practices a little bit. I think going to the rink 3 days in a row for shorter durations probably isn't good from a distancing perspective. And, when you're going to a rink and there's a lot of people coming in and out, you may want to limit that to maybe just twice a week. And that's the logic behind that. And, I think there's going to be a lot of flexibility. I really kind of tip my cap to a lot of the rink leaders, managers, whether it's at Jersey Shore Arena or it's at Winding River, whether it's up in Middletown. It's going to be a lot of trying to sort some things out as far as practice times and game times. But I'm confident that once we understand what we're dealing with as far as the time management will all work out. Flexibility is key, and it would just be great to get back on the ice. I mean, personally, I haven't skated since March. A lot of these young players haven't been out there often either. So if we can get to that point, I think everyone will be happy just to get back involved again. Hopefully flu season is kind to us, and we're really pulling for our fall sports colleagues to make sure that they can really set the tone for us coming out of the gates and really root for the football and the soccer and all the other sports that things go smoothly, and those coaches can really pave the way for the winter sports to come in from behind, coming next, and really set a good tone and really share some best practice. And so these kids are safe, they can compete, they can stay fit. It's great for their mental health. We can get back on track, and as you mentioned before, Chris, that sense of normalcy that we're all craving, we can get back to that.
So, Coach, I really appreciate the time. I'm really looking forward to working with you more as we move forward here. And best of luck. Best of luck this season, and welcome back.
Thanks so much, Chris. Great reconnecting with you here, and look forward to working with you as well. Thanks so much for your time tonight.